Hello folks, this is Andy Larson, Local Food Systems and Small Farms Extension Educator in Unit 2, Boone, DeKalb, and Oakville counties in northern Illinois. Thanks for coming back to the new Illinois Fruit and Vegetable Farmers recorded sessions. In the previous business sections of this class, you've heard about how production, marketing, and management skills are all essential for operating a successful farm business. Well, this time let's put some pencil to paper and do a little bit of this analysis to see where you really stand in these three areas: production, marketing, and management. Today's objectives include getting you introduced and hopefully started on 4 different types of farm business analysis. The SWOT analysis. What is it? Why should I do one? The enterprise analysis. Does this still make sense when I run the numbers for this farm? A market analysis. What are the costs, returns, and trends at each venue at which I'm selling product? And the management analysis. Do I have all the human resources that I need to have in order to succeed? I want you to get familiar with these 4 types of business analysis so you feel comfortable enough performing them. Whether you've already begun doing business and have real data to use, or you have not yet begun and are basically just working with projections. An estimate is better than no number at all. First, the SWOT analysis. As you have certainly noticed, you are not the only produce supplier your customers have to choose from. Heck, you might not even be the only local produce supplier in your intended market. As such, you need to think about your market position. You need to think about competition, and you need to think about how your business may need to change or adapt in the future. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses are internal to your business, while opportunities and threats are outside or external to your business entity. SWOT analysis is all about competitive advantage, which is just the mix of conditions or circumstances that puts a business in a favorable position relative to its competitors. Are my crops organic while everyone else's are conventional? Are my livestock products raised on pasture while everyone else is raising theirs in confinement? What is it that differentiates you from your competitors? So let's have a look at a simple template. The format of a SWOT analysis is really pretty simple. Strengths and weaknesses are on the internal side of the matrix. Opportunities and threats are on the external. You can reimagine this as you see fit, but basically SWOT helps you create an inventory of factors that you need to keep at the forefront of your mind for the sake of the sustainability of your business. Your strengths are the things that you do well as a farm business, things upon which you can focus to differentiate yourself from the competition. For example, if you're a great grower of heirloom tomatoes, maybe that can be a focus of your farm business and an area to build your brand and reputation. Weaknesses are things that you don't do so well, and because of that, you can put your farm business at a disadvantage. For example, if you hate social media because you don't have the time or the tech savvy, you may be missing out on visibility and relationship building. You can shore up that weakness by having a partner or even one of your kids develop a social media presence for your farm. Opportunities are external to your farm business, but nonetheless should be kept on your radar screen in case they can provide you an opening into a marketplace, or a market differentiation, or even a lucky break. For example, perhaps someone's opening a natural food store in a neighborhood where your target customers tend to shop. That's a great opportunity, and something you may want to take advantage of. Threats are external to your business, but could have the opposite effect as opportunities, doing harm to your business, or even shutting it down. For example, many farmers are worried about new taxes or new regulations as threats. And you need to fully understand the perceived threat and its potential effects in order to mitigate its effects on your business. Now that you know what it is and what it entails, you might be wondering why on earth you should bother doing a SWOT analysis. Well, completing a SWOT analysis can do a couple of things. It can help you more fully understand the business context that you're working within, what you're good at, what opportunities may be coming down the pipe, and what kind of business landmines you need to avoid in order for your farm business to thrive. It can help you carve out a sustainable niche. How does your product or brand compare to that of your competitors? What do you need to do in order to position yourself appropriately in the marketplace? Is that niche likely to be well protected, or is it short-lived and trending out? A SWOT analysis can help you direct your current operations. If you are doing things that are not taking advantage of your biggest strengths or overcoming your major weaknesses, you may need to modify your priorities or your business operations in order to shore up your competitive advantage. Finally, a SWOT analysis can do a lot of good in imagining future directions for your business. If you can see a clear threat to your business model or brand position, maybe you need to reimagine part of your business now. If there's an opportunity to be taken advantage of, how does that change your market or your business down the road? Now, let's talk about enterprise analysis. Are you confident that all of the business pursuits on your farm are actually making you money? If you're charging less than the production cost plus the marketing cost, you are losing money with every sale. And the more product you sell, the more money you lose. In this context, an enterprise is simply one of the business pursuits you are doing on the farm, like a particular crop or a particular type of production, say field-growing purple potatoes, or raising raspberries in the high tunnel. An enterprise budget will help you get a grip on all the costs associated with production and marketing within that specific enterprise, and whether you need to change or discontinue that enterprise. The results are often surprising. Once again, let's start by clarifying a few terms. Accountants often talk about fixed and variable costs. Fixed costs are those costs you are going to incur no matter how much of a particular crop you produce. Whether you produce 100 row feet of purple potatoes or 1,000 row feet, you are likely going to be paying the same amount of interest, taxes, depreciation, farm insurance, and building and machinery upkeep. However, there are variable costs that will increase if you grow to 1,000 row feet of potatoes rather than 100. Think about seed potatoes, man hours, machine hours or rental rates, fuel, compost or fertilizer, straw for mulching, and crop protection inputs. Also, it may seem counterintuitive, but it is useful to separate your planting and growing costs from your harvest and prep costs. Once a crop is planted, you incur a cost whether or not you end up with a harvestable crop. Harvest costs occur after a growing period, and they only occur when you end up with harvestable crop that you intend to take to market. So, you may plant 1,000 row feet of purple potatoes, but you may only end up with 500 row feet if ground squirrels get to the rest. This is a very simplistic template for an enterprise budget, probably overly simplistic. At the top you'll see a per production area box, so you're calculating this per bed, per 100 feet of row, per acre, some production unit. Receipts are just the dollars of product sold, so the quantity of pounds or whatever, the dollars per unit, and the total receipts that you receive. Planting and growing costs can be divided into supplies. Think about seeds, fertilizer, row covers, row markers, and labor. For example, bed prep, fertilization, seeding, transplanting, mulching, weeding, etc. Harvest and prep costs are divided up the same way. Think about supplies, like bags or plastic pints, and labor hours used to harvest the crop. Ownership costs are fixed costs. Once again, these expenses exist regardless of your scale of production. Think about machinery and infrastructure, irrigation, high tunnel, etc. Your overhead, for example, interest, insurance, upkeep and repair, and land costs, either rental or ownership. These different categories of cost, the planting and growing, harvest and prep, and ownership or fixed costs, will add up to your total costs. And by subtracting your total costs from your total receipts, you will receive net income. And you'll need to divide that over the number of units you are trying to find a price for. So you can calculate those per year and per unit. Why do enterprise budgets? Enterprise budgets may actually be one of the most important analyses you do for your farm business and for your quality of life, because enterprise budgets help you discover a break-even price that you have to charge for your product based on your actual costs of production. This information is essential for answering a wide variety of immediate and longer-term questions. Given my current prices in markets, I can find out which crops are making me the most money. Should I expand this enterprise? Where can I gain additional efficiencies to further improve my profit margin? On the flip side, which crops are making little profit or even causing me to lose money? Would my customers be willing to pay more? Should I discontinue this enterprise? If I can't stop providing this product, well, where can I gain efficiencies? Or could I source the product from somewhere or someone else? This information regarding break-even price also provides a benchmark for you to compare your production costs and production system to other growers in your marketplace. If they are able to grow something much cheaper than you are, how are they doing it? Can you follow their example? Or maybe even have them grow that product for you? Let's move on to market analysis. I want to talk about two different aspects of market analysis. The first being market alignment, and the second. So, you have talked about some of the different options and channels you can consider for marketing your product. But how do you choose which ones you actually use for your farm business? The answer comes down to really knowing your customer and knowing the value proposition that your product provides them. There are customers, and then there are your customers. You need to know in fairly specific detail to whom you are selling. It's valuable to create a detailed profile of the customers that you want to target. Consider several different aspects of this customer. Geographic. Where are your customers located? Where do they normally buy food? And how far are they willing to travel to get something that they really want? Demographic considerations might include age, income, ethnicity, educational attainment, whether or not they have family at home, and even the amount of money spent on food, either in the home or away from the home. Psychographics are basically beliefs, values, and preferences. Why is it that any given customer prefers organic over conventional, for example? It could be related to a belief, it could be related to a production practice. If you don't know, ask. Needs or problems that your customers might have definitely factor into their buying decisions. If they can't find the products grown with a specific production practice in their area, they may be looking for something. They may not trust corporations and they want to see the face of a farmer that's producing the food that they put in their mouth. And so on. Willingness to pay is one of the last and one of the most important considerations regarding your customer. A customer for our type of farms generally need to be willing to pay more for a specific attribute, a specific benefit, or a specific solution, given that we are often charging above the going conventional or commodity rate. Now that you know who your customer is, think a little bit more deeply about your product and its value proposition in the marketplace. Physical attributes can be easily seen, smelled, tasted, touched, whereas credence attributes can only really be discerned by the person producing the product. Think about unsprayed, drug-free, certified organic, or enhanced omega-3s. If you can have an established trust relationship and or a third-party certification, you can help establish some of these credence attributes with your customer base. What benefits or improvements does your product provide over the alternatives? For example, do your eggs have bright golden yolks? Does your ground beef come from only one animal? Or does your vegetable have an enhanced mineral content? Make sure your claims can be verified and try to tout the benefits of your product without downplaying or insulting someone else's. How is your product meeting customers' needs or solving customers' problems? For example, I want to buy eggs from a farmer I trust, but I don't know where to find them. I don't know how to find vegetables that were grown locally. What's the difference between conventional meat and organic meat? These may all be questions or problems that your customer have that you might be able to provide an answer or a solution to. Now, you need to decide which of your available markets give you the best access to your target customers in search of your product's particular value proposition. Think about how much it will cost you to sell there. Who else is selling in these markets? Do they have similar products, and if so, what are they charging? How much can I charge related to those? Can I cover my production and marketing costs at this price? Are the prices increasing or decreasing? And is the number of customers trending toward this market increasing or decreasing? All questions you need to ask before choosing where it is that you're going to be selling your products. Remember the break-even price we talked about earlier? Well, there's one more piece to that puzzle before we really get to the bottom line of what you need to charge to cover your expenses. Marketing costs. There are very real expenditures that go along with marketing your product. Pretty much any expense that is associated with getting a harvested product to a customer should be attributed to marketing expenses. This includes handling and processing, for example, post-harvest handling, water, detergents, ties, labels, things like that. Packaging and storing, boxes, pallets, the expense to use cold storage. Transportation, fuel and depreciation for an owned vehicle. Equipment, depreciation of coolers, tents, tables, and the types of things that you need to use to, for example, go to a farmer's market, set up an on-farm stand, or run a CSA. And last but not least is labor. Think about the time associated with sales calls, writing invoices, delivering product, or standing at a farmer's market. The tricky part about adding this to your enterprise budget is choosing exactly how to attribute which marketing costs to which products, considering you are rarely just selling one thing in many of the markets that we're approaching. You need to pick a method and stick with it. Management analysis. Management analysis is primarily about the human resources you need to run your farm business. Do you have people with the necessary skills filling both management and labor roles on your farm? Even a small farm business has a high degree of need for labor and skills. Planning, production, operations, post-harvest handling, repair, record keeping, sales, marketing, graphic design, logistics employees, accounting, taxes, legal, regulatory, licenses, veterinary. Whew. These are all areas which require a substantial skill set. I'm trying to overwhelm you. The point I want to make is that it's very rare to find one person, or a couple, or a farm family who embodies all of these skill sets to the depth necessary to handle all aspects of the farm business themselves. As you've been going through and creating the enterprise and marketing budgets we've already discussed, You've no doubt considered all of the different skills and tasks required for your production and marketing. Perhaps one of the easiest ways to determine gaps in skill sets and how to fill them is to create several short position descriptions that you will need to have involved in your farm. Describe yourself and any farm partners or managers first. Then, think about the skill or labor gaps that still exist. What type of position do you need to hire? For what tasks? What time of year? And how many hours per week? What kind of skills do these people need to bring with them, and in what will they need to be trained? Lastly, where are you going to find these people? From within the farm or the family, or will you have to go externally? I would advise you to hire externally when it makes sense to do so. Sure, hiring people and skills is expensive, but consider the opportunity cost of doing something that you don't need to do. As one of the primary farm managers, your limited time is extraordinarily valuable, and you should be doing something that uses your skill set fully and appropriately. And if it's something you don't know how to do, consider the cost of not calling in a specialist, doing your taxes wrong, ordering the wrong part for the tractor, having your website function incorrectly or not at all. Just like you deserve to be paid for your skills, specialists are paid to access their skill set, and they will often save you money in the long run. Just to reiterate, production, marketing, and management skills are all essential for a farm to be successful. A little bit of time spent doing some business analysis, even very early on in the process of starting a farm, can really pay dividends by helping to move the business in a profitable direction right from the start. A SWOT analysis will help you to capitalize on your skills, inventory your potential market opportunities, and use all of these to leverage competitive advantage for your business. An enterprise analysis will get you that first rubber meets the road figure of how much you need to charge in order to cover your production costs for a given product. Even the process of creating an estimate will save you the headache of having to adjust your prices after you have already set them. A market analysis will provide you with that critical second piece of determining your break-even price, the marketing budget. But it will also help you start out trying to market your products in the places where you are most likely to find your ideal customer. Finally, a management analysis will help you create an inventory of all the skill sets you will need to access on your farm, and determine the critical gaps that exist so you can make a plan to get the training or the people necessary to keep you in business without compromising your quality of life. I'd like to point out several resources who have been absolutely essential in creating this presentation. These are books: Fearless Farm Finances, Farm Financial Management Demystified, published by Moses; Building a Sustainable Business, a guide to developing a business plan for farms and rural businesses, developed by the Minnesota Institute for Sustainable Agriculture, and SARE, Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education. And finally, The Organic Farmer's Business Handbook, a complete guide to managing finances, crops, and staffs, and making a profit, by Richard Wiswall, and published by Chelsea Green. Once again, thank you to these three resources and their creators. Some internet resources that will become very, very valuable when trying to perform some of the analyses discussed today. Veggie Compass is a whole farm profit management spreadsheet. Will get you in great detail to the management of the business of farming. Iowa State University makes fruit and vegetable budget decision tools available on their Ag Decision Maker website. These are partial enterprise budgets with example figures for you to get an idea of how much it costs to produce 15 different fruits and vegetables in the Midwest. Ag Plan is a business planning template from the Center for Farm Financial Management at the University of Minnesota, and one of the most comprehensive online business planning templates out there. Finally, Illinois Market Maker. This tool allows you to map farmers, food business, and customer demographics in Illinois and other states around the nation for you to figure out where you need to work on locating your market outlets. If you'd like to reach us by email, my name is Andy Larson, and I can be reached at andylars@illinois.edu. And a parting thought, progress is less about speed and more about direction. That's a quotation from a farmer I've known, and find it to be very accurate, and gives you a little bit of motivation as to why to do some of the analyses I talked about today.